What's going on, y'all? What is going on? What is going on? This is your boy Scotty by Nature TV, and we're here for an open panel. We're here for an open panel tonight on Dr. Heavenly and Funky Dineva, you guys. I told you guys that I was going to give you guys an open panel tonight, and that is exactly what we are here to do, okay? It's 18 of y'all up in here. So far, so good, okay? We're gonna allow more people to come in before I start dropping the link in here because I know that earlier today when I did my open panel, not open panel, earlier today when I did my live, there was a lot of people that had some things that they wanted to say in regards to the situation at hand. You feel what I'm saying? So, I'm just giving everybody the space to come out and say what it is that they want to say, y'all. Tomorrow is the Whether You Like It or Not Beverly Hills panel on tomorrow. That's going to be on Really B's platform on tomorrow. So I'll see you guys over there. You're probably gonna get more videos from me tomorrow, just depending on what is actually out at this particular moment. You know what I mean? Like that's just what it is. So we're gonna get into all those things tonight. It's 40 of y'all. Damn, it went from 18 to 40 already. So it's 40 of y'all up in here right now. So I really want to go ahead and get the conversation started already, to be honest, because I don't intend on being here all night at all. Like I don't. So um whenever y'all ready, I'm gonna drop the link so everybody can come up here and say what they want to say. We can go ahead right now and drop it. For those of y'all that's ready, it's 51 of y'all up in here right now. So we're gonna go ahead and get this thing popping and get it started, y'all. So I just dropped the link. I'm sorry, my mic was on mute. I dropped the link, everybody, if y'all ready. Now, y'all asked me for this open panel earlier today, and I'm gonna need for y'all to bring your asses up here now. I only see one person in the background that's ready right now. I'm gonna need more than one person to come up here tonight. I'm gonna need more than one person. I'm gonna need at least two more people to come up here so we can break the ice. Hey, Sharice. Okay, there we go. Um, y'all don't have to show y'all face if y'all don't want to. Okay, so let me go ahead and let them up.
Hey, Scotty.
Hey, how you doing?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, so I have quite a bit to say about this. My thing, my thing is this. When it comes down to Dr. Heavenly and Funky Dineva, Dr. Heavenly has always been one of my favorite, if not my favorite person on Married to Medicine. I've always liked her. I know she's controversial and everything. But I literally had to unfollow her today
Why do you care?
Can you still hear me?
Why
Yeah,
don't you care? It doesn't matter. Just unfollow.
Hey, Scotty.
yeah.
Can you hear
What?
me?
What? Yeah, I can hear
So
you.
I'm just okay. So basically, what I'm trying to say is Dr. Heavenly has been one of my favorite people on Married to Medicine. I literally unfollowed her because I like battled with myself for the last day and a half. And I was like, well, I don't know what I want to do. But what I don't like is this type of rhetoric. When it comes down to Funky Dineva did a disservice to Black women, in my opinion. And that's why I feel like you, T, Kempire, Rodney are the only people I really wanted to hear from, and DJ Richie Sky on this topic. Because y'all always give good commentary, love the women, don't say bad things about Black women and things like this. I feel like Funky Dineva didn't do any service if he wants to talk about the community that he is in when it comes to gay men. All gay men don't look at women like that.
Right.
And the way that he put that, I did not like it. The way that I was literally on the live when Dr. Heavenly said that, and I was like hitting like the stop sign button, like stop, 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 stop. And she just kept going. And I'm like, oh my God, this is gonna be a thing. But I'm gonna tell you right now, Dr. Heavenly deserves, as loud as she was on that live, that's how loud the outrage should be. I don't care what her status is. He talking about he don't deal with fish and all of this. I don't like the term fish either. But here's the thing. You say you don't, that's why you don't deal heavily with fish. But we see you with Tamar, we see you with Quad, we see you with Dr. Heavenly, we see you with Candy, we see you with all these women. But I just didn't like it. I appreciate you for always being respectful to us, for always making sure that it's fair across the board, and for always just making sure that as Black women, as gay Black men, as um the community in itself, as Black people, always making sure that we are kept safe. And your commentary, I love it, and I'm always gonna ride for you. So I appreciate that.
All right, no problem, Andrea. Bap, you're up next. The link is in the chat, you guys. If you want to come up and say what you got to say, like I said, we're only going to be up here for an hour. So go ahead and speak your piece.
I have an opinion on Dr. Heavenly and an opinion on like what Funky Dineva said. Dr. Heavenly overall, I don't like that she said that what she said was a quote unquote mistake, or that people misunderstood what she was saying, or that even that her comment was ignorant. At the end of the day, what she said was wrong, and I don't see her accepting that what she said was wrong, because that's not what she believes, you know. And so you come out, you apologize, but if you don't believe that what you said was incorrect, it doesn't really matter. Um, then, as far as the Funky Dineva portion of things, I actually don't disagree with a lot of what he said, because when you come into these spaces, when you see people get angry with men who are homosexual or who are gay or whatever you want to say, you see a whole lot of the homophobia come out. You see a whole lot of homophobia come out when a guy acts in a way that people feel isn't quote unquote masculine or whatever. So we want to point the finger at Dr. Heavenly, but that is something that is embedded deep in society overall. This view that gay men are not as masculine or as manly as straight men. And so it's something that we need to take a look at and work on overall. It isn't unique to Dr. Heavenly. And that's all I'll say.
I agree with that. Gabby, you're up next.
Hi, Scotty. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you good.
Okay. I started following you, I want to say You popped up on my timeline because I was watching Jamie That's Me when the Escape show was on, the Escape at SWV show was on. And I've been watching you ever since. So, from my experience, you've never said anything bad about women. So, that's why I watch you. I watch you, T, and a couple of other people. My comment on the Heavenly thing is, are we surprised that Heavenly said the most ignorant stuff that she just said? Like, I don't. Heavenly is becoming problematic, and Funky Dineva's his response to it, it cost $0 to shut up, to just shut up and not say nothing at all. And that's where I feel like Heavenly and Funky Dineva should have just sat there and shut up because the bullcrap apology that Heavenly gave, first of all, they both gaslit the audience. I was watching your commentary earlier, and I was so confused at Funky's response to what was going on with the Heavenly thing. I'm like, how did your holding your friend accountable become into this whole little rant about women in general? Now, here's the thing with Funky, I feel like if Heavenly was comfortable enough to say the stupid stuff that she said to him or while he was in the room with her, I feel like he must have said something to make her feel comfortable to say something like that. Does that make sense? Okay. Cause
Absolutely.
because I I respect the LGBTQIA community. I respect them because they don't bother me. I don't bother them. I I guess you could say that I'm a fan of yours and T's because I do sometimes. I don't comment under your commentary a lot, but when I do and I see something stupid, I be windmilling. I do. I windmill for you and T because your commentary for the most part is respectful until somebody come for y'all, if that makes sense. But that's all.
That's all you got?
That's all. That's all.
Okay, well, if anybody else up here has anything to say, then you're welcome to speak your truth even more until more people come up. I'm dropping a link again. If anybody else wants to come up. I just feel like at the end of the day, when it comes down to Funky in this whole situation, I do think that he did project and just threw everybody else under the bus instead of just calling out his friend who made the comment. You feel what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, your friend doesn't represent all black women. Are there some black women that do shit like that, or that are homophobic, or see men that way? There may be some that do, but at that moment, it was Heavenly that said it, not the whole shebang of black women. You should have gave all your venom to Heavenly, and all it really does is pretty much intensify those rumors, or not really rumors, but that saying that he hates black women. You feel what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That it only fuels that, in my opinion, when
But I
you
do think he has some resentment towards black women. I don't think he hates black women, but I think that some rejection that he's felt and the homophobia that he's faced, I do think that he has a level of resentment. I think there was a whole lot of that hurt in what he was saying. Like you could literally hear it in his voice, in my opinion. Um, and so you have people talking about Heavenly and what she said, but he's speaking from a position of past hurts, and he's like, what about the other 50 million people who say the same thing? You know?
I 1000% agree with you. Like, I feel like at times we do project some of our hurts off to other people. right? But here's the thing, don't lump everybody in, because just like earlier in Scotty's life, for instance, he was like, he has. I remember when Scotty did that, when they had the roast and it was roasting Scotty, and he had all the women up there. He had people that backed him, like mostly women that backed him. You know what I'm saying? So that doesn't make all of us like not. It's not even. I don't even want to use the word ally, but I want to use the word ally at the same time. Like I don't care what nobody do. If you respect me, I'm gonna respect you. Period. How you treat me is how I'm gonna treat you. I'm not gonna have no animosity towards anybody. But this is again getting off the topic, right? The Heavenly said what she said, and she did what she did, and she apologized and took it back like she always does. And in that video, I have her Patreon. She didn't even do Patreon yesterday like she usually does. Heavenly does not. She's gonna do it again. And I'm
Yeah,
gonna say that, and I'm gonna say it right here, and I'm not gonna take it back.
because she actually believes that stuff. That's like an actual belief she has. So of course she's gonna say it again. That apology wasn't even really an apology. That's like an actual belief she has. So of course she's gonna say it again. That apology wasn't even really an apology.
I'm sorry,
All
y'all.
right.
Again, I'm on mute. I Diva, you can speak real right quick.
Can you hear me?
Oh no, not really.
Can you hear me?
You're very low.
Hold on.
Okay. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I thought I heard something in the background.
I will say this. I will chime in to say this. I
Okay.
stopped watching Funky when that whole Jocelyn fight happened and he made it seem like he didn't know, but he said somebody mysteriously called him or whatever the case was. But we all knew it was Melissa he was talking to. Am I the only one that just thought that?
Mm-mm.
Okay, because I felt like his commentary on that was a little biased to me. So
Well, I didn't stop watching him. But what I do feel like, had this been Claudia, he would have definitely had a different opinion. That's just my opinion. I mean, if it was Claudia Jordan that said this, what Dr. Heavenly said, he would have like went all the way in. If it was
I
Claudia
definitely
Jordan that
agree with
said
that.
this,
I
what
do
Dr.
agree with
Heavenly
that.
said, he would have like went all the way. I don't think he would have like went all the way.
Hold on, wait a minute. Okay. I do agree with that. I do think that if Claudia said it or Tasha K said it, he would have had a different
Okay. I do agree with that. I do think that if Claudia said it or
somebody got me
Tasha
playing
K
in the
said it,
background. Okay. What was I finna say? What was I saying? Oh, I do feel like if Tasha K said it or Claudia said it, he would have had a different approach. Um, JB or iDiva, y'all got one of y'all got the floor if y'all want to speak.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but you're low.
Still? Okay, hold
Yes.
on.
JB, you can speak while she getting herself together.
Okay, can
Uh,
you hear me now?
okay, that's a little bit better. You can go ahead.
Okay. Um, first and foremost, I'm so glad you did this live panel.
Okay, that's a little bit better. You can go ahead.
Hold on, do you
Hold on,
have
do
me
you have
playing
me
in the
playing in the
background?
background?
Who, me?
I feel
I
like
feel like
I can
I
hear
can hear
myself. I
myself.
feel
I
like
feel like
somebody got me
somebody got me
playing in the
playing in the
background.
background. Hold on.
Is that better?
Okay, go
Okay, go
ahead.
ahead.
Okay. Um, is that better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, I'm grateful that you did this live stream because I actually I had an opinion, and then I called one of my uh, friends who is in the LGBTQ community, and he is homosexual, but he is masculine presenting. And when I first heard Dr. Heavenly's statement, I felt like we, well, first and foremost, anyone who's watched Dr. Heavenly's lives, she talks like sometimes you have to catch the heart of what she's saying, because you can't, a lot of times she just says stuff flat out, but the words that she used is not the intent of her heart. Do you understand what I'm saying? And it's not to make to justify anything that was said offensive. And so when I had a conversation with my friend, and he's older, um, he said I think her issue was making the statement about gay men and using it as a blanket term. And because what I shared with him is, I was like, there are some, I know men, and the reason I'm saying homosexual is because I'm going to say heterosexual. So
Can I say
hold
something
on
real
one
quick?
second.
Let her
Because masculine presenting,
let her finish.
huh?
I said let her finish her point. She was still
Oh,
talking.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So I think that what she meant when she said that is some men, heterosexual and homosexual, and I'm going to use examples, um, comport themselves effeminate. For example, and I don't mean any disrespect, I would not consider Dr. Eugene a real man. I consider him a man. I don't consider him a real man. Do you understand what I'm saying? There are some homosexual men I wouldn't consider real men. I consider them men, but when I say real man, I mean someone who is more masculine. They comport themselves in a more traditional masculine sense. Do you understand what I'm saying? When, and I think, and my daughter's father helped me see this, because I used to always tell him, "Oh, you're my best friend. You're my best friend," and he's like, "No, I'm not. I'm not your best friend. I am a close friend, but I'm not your best friend. I'm not your girlfriend. There's certain conversations I'm not gonna have with you." And at first, I was offended, but then I got to understand what he meant, because he is a masculine man, so he's not gonna sit up and let me talk about, oh, and she said this and she said that and da, da, da. He don't want to get into women's conversations. Do you understand what I'm saying? But then I have some heterosexual and homosexual friends who I can discuss all of that with. I don't consider them real men. I know that they're men. So I think that what Dr. Heavenly said, I am not Dr. Heavenly, I'm only giving my opinion. I think what Dr. Heavenly was saying is, like, if we think of you as a cis, or if we're like, girl, because I have some homosexual friends, and I'll be like, girl, and they be like, girl, you understand what I'm saying? Now they know not to call me the B word, because I don't, I'm old school. I don't do that. Not even if not even if we're friends. I don't do that. But to me, I know they're men, but they're my sister girl Judy friend. Do you understand what I'm saying? I wouldn't consider them real men. But then I do know homosexual and heterosexual men who are masculine, and I consider them real men. the gentleman that I had the conversation with, he is very masculine. He comports himself in a masculine manner, but he is homosexual all day. He's not trying to hide his sexuality at all, but he just doesn't. He's not like, I wouldn't call him girl or anything like that. I wouldn't do that. He doesn't conduct himself in that manner. Did did I am I making sense? And for me, I'm like, okay, so can we have a real conversation so that we can actually hear each other and get an understanding, or is it one-sided? And I don't like. I'm sorry, my answer is going kind of long, but what I don't like and what I don't want to see is for there to become this undercurrent, this unspoken undercurrent, where there is resentment between, and now I'm going to address black people because I'm black, between the black LGBTQ community and the heterosexual women. And I feel like this comment is kind of like uncovering something that may have been there and we just never have addressed. Do you understand what I'm saying? I hope I made sense.
Okay. Andrea, what was you about to say? And then I'm gonna let JB speak.
I was just gonna say that one, like I understand we all have our own opinions and everything, and that's cool and that's cute. But here's my thing. I don't live to live nobody else's life. I don't live to live what other people live. I don't know everybody's struggles. People say that as black people, we know that we've all been through struggles. Nobody likes to hear the real though when we say that gay men, gay people, LGBTQ fights the same fight that we were fighting just to have rights, just to be who they are. So when people like to say, oh, I'm not going to call this, in no disrespect to the last person that spoke, this person a girl or whatever, or say that, or have these conversations, it's not really about that. It's just really about respecting people as being people, being human. I don't care what you identify as. As long as you respect me, I respect you. So the problem right now is this antiquated idea that men are not supposed to show their feelings. Men are not supposed to, quote unquote, be soft because if they show their feelings, they're soft. That's not true. I want my sons, I have 4 boys, to be in touch with their softer side, to be able to understand that when they get a wife or a girlfriend or whatever they decide that whoever they want to be with, I want them to be able to be emotionally in tune with anybody. So I just don't like that uh, real men aren't can't be talked to in a soft way. That's not true. That's it. Cause yeah,
Can I
that's it.
ask a question, Scotty, please? Just a question as far as
Yeah,
the whole real men thing
yeah, go
for the
ahead.
person who said it, and I'm not trying to be like rude or anything, so I hope it's not taken that way.
Go
But
ahead.
for the men who you don't consider real men, is that something that you would tell them? Like, would you tell them that you don't feel as though you consider them real men?
Yes, I
And if
would.
not, why?
Yes, 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 I would. I would, and the reason I would is because I'm very direct and I'm very straightforward. The industry that I'm in, I deal with a lot of men, and so if I feel like somebody is not a real man, now I'm not gonna come out and just be like, "Oh, I don't think you're a real man," because to insult someone. But if we get in a conversation, and we quite often end up in conversations, I'll tell them, I know you're a man, but you're not my idea of a manly man. You're not my idea
Have
of a
you
real
ever
man.
told any of them that you don't feel they're a real man?
But do you understand that some of these people that you are saying aren't considered real men will take your back and have your back before any of these motherfuckers on the street that
I think,
would a man that you not considering a real man would really be the ones that protect you.
I think you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. And so, and this is what I tell anybody, in order to get an understanding, you have to be able to listen objectively. I said very clearly, they're men. We're not saying they're not men, but, and let's be honest, I can't sit up and be like, girl and sis
No,
and
but you're saying they're
yes
not
and
real
yes,
men.
no, hold on, and yes, queen and da 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 da, and then in the same breath say, I consider you to be a real man. Because in my psyche, in my thought process, you're my home girl. I understand you are a man, so no one is. I think the comment was taking away, was taken as we're not saying that they're men. No, we're not neglecting that they're men. We're saying that they're not. They comport themselves more effeminate than masculine.
Okay,
But you're
so
still using that pronoun, they're not men. They
hold on,
are
hold on,
men.
I
hold
said
on.
I said homosexual and heterosexual, and I started by
Scotty trying to
saying
talk, y'all.
Dr. Eugene is a heterosexual man, and I don't consider him a real man.
Okay, so what? See, that's where the question comes in at. And JB, I'm gonna let you talk, then Uncle J, and then Lyric, and we gonna move through it because I know two of y'all ain't gonna be on here long, JB and Uncle J. But before I let y'all talk, what I'm saying is, when you say what's a real man, like, I'm gonna be honest, and I'm gonna allow everybody up here to have their opinion and say whatever they want. I'm not here to change nobody's mind about nothing, just to make it clear. But for me, right? Some would consider me an effeminate man. Some would. Some people don't know where to place me. Someone gave an interesting take today where they said that I am a effeminate man but masculine presenting or something like that. I just personally think that whether you effeminate or you're masculine, you are still a man or a real man. Like, I just feel like when you like, what do you mean by that? It shouldn't matter if you're effeminate or masculine. What is a real man should be the way that they carry themselves or how they stand on business. If you don't stand on business, then you're a bitch ass nigga and not a real man. So whether you, in my opinion, whether you consider me as your good Judy or not, I'm still a real man, if you get what I'm saying. I still consider myself to be a man, regardless of what my antics may be. But we will continue on with that in just a second. Let me allow JB to speak and then Uncle J.
Hey, friend.
Hey, friend.
So, I got a lot of opinions about this, and I'm gonna be quick. I don't. So, and I'm listening to what people are saying. It's the whole thing of if we say yes, queen, and all that kind of stuff. We do that with our friends. That don't. That doesn't mean like when we were in Atlanta, we all did that with each other. And y'all, if you see me, I'm very masculine. I don't act feminine or anything like that. I'm very masculine. When it comes down to my friends, male or female, especially I have women friends. If I have one friend that was abused by a dude that she was in a relationship with, I was ready to beat his ass because he was abusing her. But she told me leave it alone, and I left it alone because that's what she said. But the whole thing of a real and that's the thing, the real man. What is a quote unquote real man? I want somebody to explain that to me. What is a real man? I just when you say a real man, I think of any man, gay, straight, bisexual, whatever you want to say. A man is, when it comes down to stuff like this with Dr. G, any man is going to stand up like what King did. I don't agree with King charging at him, but any man is going to defend. If you're going to defend a woman, right? Unless you are one of those men who will try to blame the woman and say, "Oh, well, what did she do? What did she do to contribute to this?" That's what I would say is not a real man. Any man that will sit there and defend a woman being abused by a man, that's not a real man. So the whole thing of a gay man, as Heavenly said, a bitch man, I don't get where she's coming from with that. When I hear somebody say a real man, like I said, any man is going to defend a woman, gay, straight, bi, however you feel. But the whole thing of this, if you the good Judas and all that kind of stuff, a lot of, if you, I mean, down there in Atlanta, we see it all the time on social media. They fight with each other, and then they'll defend. I've seen it where they'll defend women. So I don't agree with this whole thing. And then her coming back with this apology. Dr. Heavily should have kept that apology because she said what she said. She meant what she said, and she should have stood on it instead of apologizing for it. Because I don't believe that apology at all. And then for Funky to sit there and say, like I don't agree with people. Like this is the same when it comes to black people. If we hang around white people and they say the N word all the time, and they say, oh, I'm not saying it towards you, is you're just as complicit. Like, why would you want to hang out with somebody that's using derogatory terms towards your community? It makes no sense to me. Like, I'm not going to be friends with somebody who uses the F word towards gay people. I'm not going to be friends with a white person who says the N word towards black people. It's not going to be something that I want to do. That speaks more towards your character, in my personal opinion. And that's all I got to say.
All right, friend. Thank you for coming up. I appreciate it.
All right. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Uncle Jay, you're next. And then
Hey, Scotty.
Hey.
Really quickly, you actually summed up what I was going to say very well. About the real men versus men's comment. I think what one of the panelists that's been saying that what she's proving is exactly Funky's point. That you have women and men who will go up for the gays and then still not consider us to be real men, and that's basing off of mannerisms and not character. And that's really what being a man is. It's your character. It's not your mannerisms. It's not whether you say yes queen or anything like that. It's about how do you treat people? How do you show up in the world? Are you taking care of your family? Are you a good steward of your money? Are you inspiring younger generations? That's what being a real man is. And so that's all I got to say. Gotta go.
All right, thank you, Uncle Luke. Not Uncle. I'm about to say Uncle Luke. Thank you, Uncle Jay. Lyric, you're next. Then Brandon. Hey, Lyric.
Hey, boo. You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so I just kind of want to be devil's advocate just a little bit. Just for like a mindset thing, I think for me, what I notice a lot with nowadays on the internet, we argue a lot against what we feel like things should be versus what things actually are. So when it came to like what Funky Dineva was talking about, I understood where he was coming from because a lot of people don't live the experience of the black gay male. Like we don't live the experience of, black women per se. If we just use these two things, because that's what we're talking about in the conversation. So a lot of times people they only can speak from what they experience. Just like I was saying, what a real man is to Scotty is going to be different to what a real man is to me. So when we're saying certain things, it's going to sound different. Like they say, this is sassy, this isn't sassy to that woman, this may be sassy to the next person. You may think that's too feminine, I may not. So on that side of it, I understood where Heavenly was coming from. She was wrong for how she worded it, of course. But when it comes to the grace that I feel like Funky Dineva has, I always understand it because in real terms, even though we ally and we protect a lot of black women, they don't always know our experiences. They don't always grow up. The world we shouldn't have to have these conversations, but I think people forget that we're not having these conversations. Like people really don't know what's appropriate, what's inappropriate, how we feel, where we're coming from. I think everybody like, oh, well, she wrong and she ain't sorry. Like maybe she's never had to come into a situation where she said something like that and she got checked. And I know for her, I'm using her as an example because I feel like she did shit like this before. But there's a lot of black women who won't know until they have experiences where they say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing. And then I'm having to say, hey, that's not cool. And then it's like, okay, cool, my bad. I didn't mean any harm by that. I didn't know you felt that way. So I feel like as adults, we need to start giving people a little bit more grace to be human because people will make mistakes. And then like, we can't always just assume that people are homophobic and certain things like that. Like there's a lot of conversations that's happening that's fresh and we kind of argue them as if like it's law, like everybody knows our experiences. So it's like, and you know, people just, they don't want to give grace, but you got to be realistic. Like you can be mad about it, but at the end of the day, a lot of people don't know. We still have to educate people. So I'm just giving a more realistic point of view versus it being something like where people are always like, well, they should know. Like we live in our own bubbles. Everybody don't know our life. Everybody don't really care that much. So if you really want to make a difference, then educate people. And if they don't change, then be mad about it. But you can't, you know, you got to give people grace. You got to give them an opportunity to correct what they got going on. That's all I got.
Thank you, Lyric.
That's the problem with giving people grace. It's like with Heavenly, how many times is she gonna say the stupid stuff that come out of that? I mean, how many times is she gonna say the stupid stuff, and for people to forgive her, for her to come out and say something stupid again? All she gonna do is keep repeating the cycle, and she gonna keep having to apologize or
Yeah, but
apologize.
yeah, and for Heavily, I understand that. That's why I said I'm using her as an example. But there's also a lot of people carrying this over into outside of just Heavily in general and just talking about women. Like a lot of women are offended and not understanding where we're coming from. So it's really bigger than just Heavily. And the reason why this conversation is being had, a lot of people feel the same way about it outside of Heavily. So I'm just speaking for that. Heavily is she's ignorant. So it's like she is. It's gonna take a lot more than this for her to like watch her mouth. So I'm just using her as an example.
And here's where I come from with that. April 19th, 2022, I had a boy. January 5th, 2006, had a boy. Oh, I had 4 boys. When they were born in the thought of me raising great young men, no matter what they decide to do when they get older. The thing I didn't like that Funky said was that I bet you if your boy came home, you would beat his butt. He didn't say that, but you know what I'm saying? Whoop his, if he came home. No. Only thing I'm going to do is just like I do with my sister who's a lesbian, that if she get into it with her girlfriend, I'd be like, bro, it's easy. I could fight her because she a girl. I could probably whoop her ass. At the end of the day, I don't care. I birthed 4 boys that when they were born, they had penis and balls. I don't know what they're going to grow up to be. I don't know who they're going to grow up to like. And at the end of the day, whatever the decision is, it's me as a mother to be supportive of whatever their decision is. And that's why I was like, I feel like a lot of this, I can take it away from Black women. I can take it away from what Heavenly said and all of that. It's about just accepting people for who they are. And I don't care about what you do in your bed because guess what? It don't affect me.
Okay, Brandon, I'm gonna let you go now, and then Bridget can go after. Go ahead, Brandon.
Hey, what's up, Scotty and Chat? Can y'all hear me?
Yes, but we can hear you good. You got you a good ass mic.
Oh no, this is just my laptop actually.
Oh, well, your mic on that laptop is the shit. Go ahead.
But no, I was just gonna say that, like, first of all, I feel like a lot of people are putting 20 on 10. I think that a lot of people don't want to face the reality that a lot of people do think like Heavenly, and I think that a big part of that, or a big reason behind that, is because Heavenly has been inundated with a very one-dimensional lane of Black gay men. You know what I mean? She's around a lot of the stylists, the makeup artists, the hairstylists. You know what I mean? And a lot of them are often a lot more feminine leaning, and and they are a lot more comfortable with like the feminization of the language of the girl and the hey sis, and and being one of the girls, quote unquote. You know what I mean? And so for her, in her mind, she thinks that because they are feminine, that literally makes them one of the girls. So when she thinks about men stepping up or stepping in to be men, she has removed them from the conversation. Heavenly hasn't been, I guess, presented with enough examples, or presented with enough examples to where of masculine gay men. We're out here, we exist, and because like we're not as depicted that often in the media, we're not seen that often. So for a lot of people, their automatic idea of a gay man is a feminine guy who is going to, in their minds, be one of the girls. Now, what I feel is completely wrong is for anyone to get on here and say that, this person isn't a real man. If a man is taking care of his responsibilities and carrying himself like a grown adult, he's a real man. Like, cut it out. Like, that's crazy to be talking about because Dr. Eugene isn't as quote unquote masculine compared to some of the other husbands. And I mean, and when you go down that lane, I'm like, how isn't he even masculine? He's just a lot more jovial. He just isn't as like uptight. You know what I mean? He's a lot more friendly and like, but like that has nothing to do with how masculinity is measured. So like that sounds crazy to me, and I felt like that was really disrespectful. To equate him to not being a real man when this man is a whole professional, whole husband, father who has, continues to take care of his family and rise to the occasion of taking care of his responsibilities. So yeah, I definitely didn't like hearing that. But yeah, like I said, I feel like the main thing is that Heavenly represents a lot of people, and it's because of a lack of visibility. So like when people have that one-dimensional idea of what a group of people are, then like it's very easy for them to run with a narrative. And unfortunately, I mean, and don't get me wrong, that still doesn't mean that if a guy is feminine, that you get to take his manhood away from him. Like that's not cool either. But because so many of them are lumped into that box of being another one of the girls, a lot of times with women, that's where that narrative comes from. And then people like Heavenly take off or run with it and say stupid stuff like, oh, well, a real man, because to her, that stylist is one of the girls. You know what I mean? So that's all I wanted to jump on and say. Thanks for having me.
No problem, Brandon. I appreciate it. Do you be in my chat all the time?
Yeah, that's me, Brandon
Okay,
Brown.
I was just trying to make sure because I remember names, honey. I remember names. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
All right. Bridget, you're next, and then Tati, you're next.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you real good. You got a good mic too.
Okay, actually, this is my cheap Google phone.
Oh,
anyway,
Google phone is good.
Thank you. Anyway, I'm going to touch on Dr. Heavenly or Hellishly very, very fast. I just think she's a product of her generation. She left South Florida, moved to Atlanta. When you're hanging around, you know how Funky Dineva hits online persona. He'll say the old girl, oh this or oh that. With her equating him, or she probably thinks she's being a friend and I can talk to you like that. I grew up in Alaska. I dealt with a lot of Caucasians that thought that they could talk to me the way my family would talk to me. No. You've gotten too comfortable and I will put you in your place. However, if you listen to Funky talking, and I've been on board with him now for maybe a year and a half, I stumbled upon him. However, I listen to him, and even when he's saying, I'll check with you fish later, okay, that's part of his persona. He said over and over, when I say these things, when I'm talking about the cubicle fish and this, it's a joke. I'm comfortable in myself. I'm a professional. I can laugh at that because you know what? Sometimes us females, that's exactly what we say about other females. Okay? Now, he told us about his pain. It's kind of funny that everyone skipped over that and they think he's giving Dr. Heavenly a pass. Did we not hear him say, if he got rid of every woman that he feels like when they're in their cliques, and he's right, they have things to say. They were, it's just like, I'm sure there are a lot of white folks that work with me that when they go home, girl, that nigger girl, Bridget, hey, it is what it is. But he said how it made him feel. He would have to get rid of his mother. He would have to get rid of his sister. He said those things. All of those friends that say these things in his presence. So what he told us the other night, that was his truth. I can't make a person feel bad for his truth. I can't tell you, yes, this is what you have gone through in your life. However, you're wrong. I can't tell a person how to feel about their truth. Um, no one said anything. I don't remember the outrage and wanting to cancel Quad when she called Dr. Eugene Dr. Eugina because she said he was always getting in women's business. I don't remember people going out for Nene when she told Peter he was a bitch because he was always in women's business. So, we have to put some context. Yeah, if you go through life feeling like around every turn there's someone coming at, there's the boogeyman, you can't live like that. I'm an overweight Black woman. I'm in my 50s. My son and I were 35 years apart. Now, my son has brought a few people home, not many girls. And, I've had a conversation with my son because of some things that my son's father um, told him about himself. And I just let my son know, I'm your mother. It doesn't matter. However, I have a mother that lives with us that's in almost 80 years old. She has a totally different mindset. If she thinks there's anything that may be a little sweet in the sauce, oh, we need to pray and I need to get you more into the Bible. And I have to stand toe to toe with her and let her know, not my son. And that is just one of the things Heavenly is in, not only is she removed from us in the times of when she has come up, things are different. Things are definitely different in the South. I grew up military. Not only that, but she's different from us when it comes to class. Her being a dentist, a doctor, has removed her from everyday people. She's around money. If she did not have that doctor degree, the way she talks, do you think anyone would even sit down and have a conversation with her? So she has, and people have made fun about the way she talks. She doesn't try to correct it. She just moves on and gets worse. So she has some things that she's overcompensating for also. And I'm not going to stay, because I could talk all night long. I'm not going to stay on the line, but you're the very, very first show I've ever called into, because this actually hits me a certain way. Because like with my son, whatever he decides to do or however he feels where his life is taking him, I'm his mother. I'm always going to be his mother. And I surround him with love, and I surround him with the ability to know that he can come and talk to me about anything and express how he feels with me or to me. And I'm good. I'm good. And I know not a lot of people have been embraced and felt love and felt the comfort to know that, I'm not going to be sitting here and telling him he's going to hell, he's doing this, he's doing that. Do people remember when Funky Dineva, or Quentin is as what I think of him in his head, when he said when he came out to his mother, the way she reacted, he didn't talk to her for years. And every time she saw him, she said, I can just see the devil all over you. You're going to bust into hell. I mean, those things weigh deep. That was his mother talking to him. So he's used to, from the woman that was the closest to him in life, rejecting him. So that's just something. So, maybe he loved her and still held on to her. I can see his relationship with Heavenly and probably any other female that he gets close to. That is what he's been trained to feel like. That's how women look at all men, not knowing that there's other things, other people out there that will embrace you. As long as you're not hurting anyone else, why am I turning against you? That's just the way I feel. Heavenly, she needs some time alone, off the internet, off the show. And that's just the way I feel. Thank you for your time.
No problem. Thank you.
Yes.
And Tati, you can go ahead. I know you've been waiting for a minute now, but you can go ahead, Tati.
No, it's okay. Hey, Scotty, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great. So, I just want to preface my statement with I do believe that what Heavenly said was definitely ignorant. And I did see some people commenting about like her being college educated. And I still do believe that like if you have been to college, you still can be ignorant to the LGBTQ plus community.
Mm-hmm.
You could still be ignorant to what's going on, to the right words to use, the right way to articulate things. And so
Hold on 1 second. There's a small echo. What are
okay,
you using, your computer or your phone?
my computer.
Do you have me on another tab?
Yes, I just X'd out of it. Can you hear me better now?
Okay. Yeah, you good now. Go ahead.
Okay, great. So yeah, I still think you can be ignorant to, other things that you weren't educated on. And I think that's the case with Heavenly. But for me, when I heard her say that a real man is going to defend his woman, not a what did she say? She said not a gay man or a soft man. I know a lot of people took it as like she was using those two terms synonymously, like gay and soft, and not real. But for me, I was taking it as, okay, she was saying that with a gay man, we have a different rapport. Like us as Black women, we have a different rapport with gay men. Like we are more jovial. We're more like it's more fun. It's more like, it's just that kind of energy. And then with a soft man, she's saying like, okay, a soft man is like one that doesn't protect his woman, is like kind of, be made, and that's kind of how I took it. So I didn't take it as she was being as everyone is taking it, like she was being homophobic or anything. But that's just kind of how I saw it. Because I watch her videos and she always talks about how like if she were to joke or play with a gay man and they call her a B word around her husband, he wouldn't be offended by that, because they have more of a friendly relationship than if she were in contact with a straight man. So I don't know, that's kind of how I took it. But I do believe that whether you're gay or straight, you can be a real man. And a lot of times in this day and age, I do think even like gay men can be more of a man than straight men a lot of times, just based on how they treat us, how they defend us in the public. It's just a different energy. So I don't base real manhood on if someone were gay or straight, because at the end of the day, I don't know who anyone is doing in their bedroom. But yeah, so I feel like a lot. And then I heard a couple of other people speak about how they feel a lot of women feel the same way Heavenly does, and how everyone's interpreting what Heavenly said. And I do believe that. And I think a lot of them think worse, because I be seeing the comments, and a lot of people think worse than what she even said. But I think people are using this opportunity to bash Heavenly because they
Yes.
highly dislike her and hate her, and they're trying to cancel her. And I think that's
Yes.
the problem in, our community, is that it's like, instead of, correcting her, because at least she's willing to be corrected, unlike, someone at the head of this country, we voted for, and, he stands on what he says, but people still uplift him. But it's like with someone like Heavenly, it's like we're trying to bash her and keep her down, and and I just don't like it, because I don't think she's really coming from that place. That's what I feel.
Okay, well, everybody's entitled to their opinions, whether I agree with said opinions or not. Oh,
Can I add one thing, Scotty? I'm sorry.
go ahead.
So, with lesbian women, the more masculine presenting women are called studs and they're called butch, right?
Right.
The more effeminate women are not called that. So, I want to go back to, no one is saying that gay men, whether you're effeminate or masculine, are not men. You're just not what most heterosexual women would refer to when they're talking about real men. They're talking about more masculine presenting, like a manly man. They even in the South they call it a man's man. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's not I do understand how the term is offensive, and I understand that again because I had a conversation with someone in my inner circle. So I do agree that she used the wrong word, but I don't want us to focus on, oh, these are the words that she used, and not focus on what was meant, what her heart was. Do you understand what I'm saying? I know a lot of people have issues with Heavenly, but for me, the reason I have a lot of admiration and respect for Heavenly is because she says what she says and she says it straightforward. Whereas there are so many people nowadays who are snaky and say one thing to your face and do one thing behind, do a completely different thing behind your back. I, me personally, I prefer when I can see you straightforward.
Okay, well, with that being stated, I did tell y'all that I was gonna only do this for an hour, and we made our hour. I just want to thank all of you guys for coming up and giving your thoughts and opinions. I really thought that I wasn't gonna get nobody up here because it started out real slow, child. I only got to get about 2 people. It was one guy up here. He just, I don't know what the hell he was doing up here, but but I appreciate you guys for coming up. Thank you guys for showing up and giving you guys' opinions, and I love you guys
Thank
for
you,
it.
Scotty,
Scotty.
can I say something? This is Bridget. Can I say something really quick?
Yeah,
Really, really quick. What
yeah.
a lot of people have to understand is Heavenly has been her own boss for decades. She's not worked with a group of people where you have to go through and learn how to talk to other people. If she were working in the hospital, she would have been fired a long time ago. She's been her own boss. She has not had diversity training. And I mean, I'm not trying to fall on the knife for her. Her mouth is reckless. However, I think that that is a big deal. She has been her own boss. So the way she talks on her live, can you imagine her in her office saying what she wants to say, how you want to say it? If you want to leave, you can leave. I can replace you tomorrow. And so that's
And here's
something
the
to
thing.
consider. That's
Here's the
something to
thing
consider.
too. If I can say this real quick,
Mm-hmm.
nobody. I am a heavily like fan, like for real. I was, and I still like him. But what I'm gonna say is, I have a son that is fighting through what I don't know what he's going through. And when someone makes comments and things of that nature and says these type of things, I'm not ever going to condone or be here for the bullcrap. At the end of the day, Dr. Heavenly, who I love, and I will continue to say that, she made a mistake. She apologized. She apologized. She apologized 3,
She's going to
30,
take it back.
40 times over. But here's the thing. Look in your own house before you start throwing rocks. That's all I have to say.
I agree. And a
Thank you,
lot of people
Scotty. I
said
love
that.
you.
No problem. Thank you all for coming up. Lyric, yeah, yeah. Uh
And I don't think that's fair either to bring her. I don't know if you
I'm
said
done talking.
son
I'll
or
be
fault. I don't talk about people's kids.
mm-hmm.
So I brought up my own kid, but I would not, if I had a platform and I were on a stage and I'm not, I mean, in your early 20s, you are at a vulnerable age. A lot of people don't know who they are, what they want to be, where they're going. My son is pre-law. I don't have thugs hanging around my house. Nobody's pregnant. I mean, the cops don't know my son. You know what I mean? My son just goes to the grocery store with me, and all these little old white folks are trying to offer him money because he's helping them to their car. He doesn't work at the grocery store, and they're like, let me give you. And the more he turns them down, the more money they're trying to give him. And he's like, I'm actually offended because I have a mother and a grandmother, and I would hope that someone would help them if I'm not around. So, I raised him as a single mother. I'm an adoptive mother. He knows both of his birth parents. He and I are 35 years apart. And in my girl, I enjoyed my 20s. Okay. When I say girl, I mean all of y'all. But when I adopted, that's what I wanted to do. And I adopted as a single person. I was sober about it. I knew there were going to be challenges. I've raised my son in Las Vegas, Nevada. That's where I am right now. He has started school, graduated from high school. He's in college here. And as everything, Las Vegas is, the streets are full of people that want to pray. And I lived in, before buying the home that I'm in right now, we had drug dealers, gang members in our apartment building, the first apartment we've ever lived in. They would say, don't talk to him. That's Miss Bridget's son. Because they appreciated the fact that they would see me go, they're like, Miss Bridget, what are you cooking for dinner tonight? I cooked every day. Walk my son to the school bus. And they saw me being the parent. And they were like, why didn't my mom do that for me? But that's off subject. I'm just saying that we just have to be present in our children's lives, and we just have to create a safe space. I don't think Funky got that. What was her name? Dr. Contessa mentioned that Heavenly's kids are not necessarily close to her, and there could be a reason for that. I don't think she's ever been a girl's girl or a person that had friends in school. She said that growing up, she was locked up in her bedroom. Maybe her husband needs to lock her up in her bedroom again and give us some space. But I just think she needs to take a break. The show, and I don't know if it's Carlos King in her ear, but the show is not the marriage medicine that it was supposed to be when they first started out. It's gone to the gutter, and that's mostly her doing. And I'm going to sign out for the night. I'm going to tell you guys, thank you, Scotty. I'm sorry that I have kept you online longer than you want it to be. However, this is my first time doing live for any platforms, and just kind of shy about it. But I do like the fact that I've been able to get my opinion out there. I would just say when it comes to Quentin, I appreciate the fact that he knows when to turn it on, turn it off. You can tell when he gets real and he's Quentin versus when he's just shooting the SHIT and he's being funky Dineva and he's like, you cubicle fish, you cubicle girls, I'm rich, I'm white, I'm this. Okay, that's, if you guys may be too young to remember Flip Wilson, an act is an act. But when he's talking his politics corner and all the other stuff that he does, he's giving us his real. And I listen to it for comedy relief. However, I also listen to it because he says a lot of stuff that we're feeling and thinking, but we just don't say it. When he just tells it like, this is where it's coming from. This is what's going on. Why are all these planes falling out of the sky? The richest man in the world, now he has a contract with the FAA. And I mean, it's just things that make you think. And that's why I actually listen to him every day. Scotty, I listen to you too. So I just, because it's just one of those things right now. I have to take a break from the real news, but you guys still sneak in how you feel about things. And it just gives me a different way of looking at things. And when I'm listening to commentary, I'm not worried about who's sleeping with whom. You may say, yes, somebody, it looks good, but hell, I'm saying the same thing. Nobody thinks twice when a woman say a woman is beautiful. Why should I think twice when you say a man looks good or anybody says that? So I am actually listening to content creators for the content. And that's what I mean. I appreciate you guys for what you do, because you're actually putting your personal life out there to be criticized. And I appreciate that. And I just want to let you know, I appreciate what you do.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All righty then. I'm about to go ahead and end this. Thank you so much for coming up.
Okay. And you take care.
All right. You
Bye
too.
now.
Bye-bye. So that was the open panel for tonight. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. We had over 200 people watching the live, and we had a couple of people up here giving their opinions. Some I did not agree with, some that I did agree with, but it's all about giving everybody their chance to speak and give their own opinions. I really, really appreciate you guys, and I love you guys. And I'm about to go ahead and get up out of here. But all my moderators that's in the building, y'all know what it's time for, to share the link to the Boss Baby Wars voting. If you have not voted for me, please do so, honey. The link should be in the voting. The link should be in the description box right underneath my social media handles. I really appreciate you guys, and I am out of here until tomorrow. Well, it is tomorrow now. I'll talk to you guys then. Bye, y'all.